Eish. Eish. Yeah. Oh. What's up, Sunday fams? Welcome back to another video. My name is Flip.
I'm Element.
And we are going to talk about It's Okay to Not Be Okay, episode 9 and 10. An amazing 2 episodes. We finally, after all the build-up, after all the tension, we finally get the long-awaited embrace and kiss between Kang-tae and Moon Yeoung.
It's hard not to root for them. You know, there's so many red flags and there's so many like obvious like tells that this is a toxic relationship. You know, there's codependency happening. And they're therapy for each other, yes, but of course that's not always a good thing in terms of a romantic relationship. But there's so much chemistry between the two.
The chemistry is undeniable. It's like they really need each other. It might be toxic. I don't know if they're toxic for each other. Like, I think both of them have baggage. They all carry some sort of burden, some sort of deep history from their past. Obviously, Moon Yeoung with her mother, Kang-tae with his mother, and also Sang-tae and like just that burden. But, you know, I think this show is showing us different ways of them taking one step forward and then two steps back. Like, it's almost like there's a progress and then there's regress, and it just keeps going back and forth. It's the balancing act. Like, when will they both, or when will all of the characters in this show both take enough progress, make enough progress to just, you know, live their life happily?
I don't think that. See, when they started like going on their little adventure together, and it ended with their little kiss. I don't know what we'd call that, but I guess it's a kiss.
It's a fleeting moment.
I was thinking to myself, this is way too soon because they still haven't worked out that baggage, right? They haven't confronted exactly what's going on with themselves, because now we're looking forward after, you know, this romance. We have this huge breakdown with Sang-tae just yelling all over the hospital, revealing, well, I don't know if it's a reveal, but it's just he's just kind of like telling everybody, hey, you know, Kang-tae wanted me dead.
All of his repressed memories just came exploding out of him.
They both had a breakdown, because then Kang-tae was just like, he just like buckled and just like folded under the pressure, started crying. He was like, he's lying, or he's not telling the truth. That's not the real. I didn't really want you to die, but he was lying to himself.
I mean, we even talked about it in the past couple of episodes with his, you know, his regressed memories or his burdens with his mother, like the problems that he had with his mother, like feeling like he was alone, like feeling like she didn't love him, but then he finally accepted that. But then there's also other things that just hasn't come forward yet, like him running away and then coming back to save Sang-tae. Like, I guess that was just kind of like something that he wished Sang-tae would have erased out of his mind.
It's part of both of their repressed memories, right? He thought that his mother treated him poorly, when there were moments where she actually, you know, treated him kindly and loved him. Kang-tae thought that Sang-tae was repressing or had forgotten about that moment at the river. But that was just eating at him his whole entire life, and it just came crashing down in that moment, and he was like, wow, he's still thinking about it.
Yeah, and you think that Kang-tae has kind of awakened or just has been freed from, you know, the last 2 episodes where he was ready to go on this journey with Moon Yeoung.
2 steps back.
2 steps back. He totally forgot about Sang-tae and what the repercussions might be, right? Like, this relationship with him and his brother is something that's, of course, it's not normal, right? But like, you can't just go on this trip, lie to him. And then Moon Yeoung, on the other hand, like trying to be best friends with Sang-tae, it's like, it's almost like this is a really bad recipe.
Yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster.
They were definitely going about it in all of the wrong ways.
Yeah.
I think at some point they could have told Sang-tae that they were just gonna go hang out, even though Sang-tae has this kind of like, you can't have fun with him. He can only, you know, have fun with me. But yeah, you're right. Just like a recipe for disaster in terms of lying about it to Sang-tae and making him feel like, you know, he went to Seoul by himself.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, it's just as you said, a recipe for disaster. It all went crashing down, and then Kang Tae is just saying all this mean stuff to Ko Man-young, and which is unforgivable in my eyes because like
God, you do not hurt a single hair from Ko Man-young.
Yeah.
You just do not touch, or you just do not hurt a single feeling from that beautiful butterfly. I was kind of bubbling up inside when that happened, and I was like, no.
you don't talk to her like that.
Exactly.
I mean, but of course that's our bias talking, right? I mean, we root for them both, but in these past 2 episodes, like it was a perfect setup, you know, because they gave us this kind of like, they lulled us into a sense of security where they were just going to be happy. And then they had this crash and burn, and like Kang Tae just completely did a 180 and started treating her with this cold malcontent.
Just almost like swept her under the rug, like
abandoned her. Actually,
yeah, like
at the
left
beach.
her wanting right there on the beach. But you know what? We all know that this is not what he actually wants.
Yeah.
It's this like push and pull thing with him and Sang Tae, and he can never really truly be free without Sang Tae, so the relationship has to work with Sang Tae, right? Like, you can't have a relationship with Kang Tae without Sang Tae.
Yeah, you can't abandon Sang Tae, but you also cannot fall into this prison, like, in which he feels, right?
Yeah.
He says he's dreaming an impossible dream, and I don't think it's impossible, right? Because I think at the end of the day, the best thing he could possibly do is kind of, you know, work things out with Sang Tae in a way where Sang Tae is aware that Kang Tae has his own desires, his own life that he wants to pursue. That was also kind of like a product of their circumstance where Kang Tae was just completely at the whim of Sang Tae and didn't really concentrate on his own happiness, right?
It's almost like Sang Tae and Moon-young have kind of this possessive feeling, like possessive thing, right? Like, they're always asking like, I'm the most important person in your life. No one can be more, you know. So Sang Tae like can't let that go. Moon-young can't let that go either, and so it's like exploding and it's just colliding together. But I think at some point it's all going to like merrily, you know, come together. I mean, right? Like obviously, right?
If it's not gonna be a happily ever after ending, I don't know what kind of ending it could be. Aside from that, I mean, of course, the ending that we would like to see is that Sang Tae accepts both of them dating and both of them seeing each other, and there's just like a happily ever after ending. But it's gonna be tough. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the boy who cried wolf was the name of this episode, and it was so true because Moon-young spent her birthday alone, and you know, she's been alone her whole life, and it feels like just when you feel like there's a breakthrough, like we've been saying, there's just like a step forward, 2 steps back, it's back to her lonely self. And a big revelation at the end of this episode, her mother,
we don't know.
Parko Run, whatever,
Parko Run?
Parko
Run.
Sorry.
Just say Miss Park.
Miss Park is her mother. Like, she shows up at the door and
we
like,
don't know that. We don't.
I mean,
like,
it's kind of definite right now, right? Or maybe she's just mental.
I'm not.
She's just mental, and she's just.
I'm not ready to make that because Miss Park reads a lot of Do Hee-jae's books, so she could be like a pen pal.
Yeah.
She could be a pen pal, and she knows all of the information about, you know, her husband and her daughter, and so she's kind of like projecting onto her.
Yeah.
So she's like, she knows that it's Ko Man-young's birthday, and she escaped, right? I'm not so sure it's 100% yet, but of course, if it turns out to be that way, then that would be a huge.
Now that you mention it, like, that is very possible. Like, it could just be like a big fan of hers that knows that it's her birthday and decides to show up. But look at Moon-young's face. Moon-young's face the whole time. It was
she looked the same way.
She was like
at the
mother.
At the shawl lady, the lady with the shawl, she looked the same way to her.
Oh, it could be just like, who are you? Why are you here bothering me, right?
I mean,
like,
both her and her dad.
Yeah.
Both her and her dad are mistaking people for her mother and his wife. So Like the lady with the shawl, she looked at her the same way. And so it's just, how do you know it's my birthday? And so it could be one of those situations.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's her real mother, or just some pen pal that just knows the information and just suddenly shows up? I'm wondering. I think it's her mother. Maybe not. I don't know. Now I'm not really sure.
All right, that'll do it for our review of episode 9 and 10 of It's Okay Not to Be Okay. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we post new videos. And as always, until next time.